Of the Gaston County Board of Commissioners. My name is Tracy Philbeck. I serve as chairman of the board as well as commissioner for the Dallas Township. I'd like to welcome our viewers and thank Time Warner Cable and AT&T for making this possible for our citizens. For our television audience, I'd like to present you your Gaston County Commissioners, beginning on my right.
Alan Fraley, Cherryville Township.
Good evening, Mickey Price, South Point Township.
Good evening, Jason Williams, Gastonia Township.
Good evening, Joe Carpenter, Crowders Mountain Township.
And good evening, Tom Kigger, Gastonia Township.
At this time, I'll call the meeting to order. The invocation will be delivered by Commissioner Williams, followed by the pledge led by Commissioner Price. Would you please stand?
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight and the good weather you've given us, you've blessed us with. God, we thank you for the opportunity to serve you, Lord, and to serve this county. We pray that you'd bless our discussion tonight, that you would lead and guide us in the decisions that we're making. Lord, I pray that you would bless each citizen that's here. I pray for each commissioner that you would guide all of our decisions. And Lord, I pray that everything be done for your honor and glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The County Commission, first item is zoning public hearings. The County Commission will take citizen comment on the following issues: 2 zoning map changes and the closing portion of Lake Wiley Road. Before we go into public hearing, let me outline the rules of procedure for the hearing. Citizens wishing to make comment will be recognized by the chair and then requested to step to the microphone for their comment. Citizens will state their name and address for the record. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Questions shall be directed to the chair for a response, and the chair shall rule on all points of order during the hearing. This time, do I have a motion to go into public hearing?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Price, seconded by Commissioner Kieger. Any discussion? All in favor? We are now in public hearing. Our first item is a zoning map change. The commission will take comment on zoning map change Z1401. Lee Bradley Chandler is the applicant. This time I'll ask Mr. Willie King, Community Development Planner, for his short comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission and Planning Board. And I will follow your instructions, Mr. Philbeck. Again, before you tonight is rezoning application Z14-01. The applicant and owner is Mrs. Lee Chandler, who is in the audience. The request is one parcel is under consideration, and the request is from the R1 Single Family Limited Zoning District within the CH Corridor Highway Overlay to the C1 Light Commercial District within the CH Overlay, and the overlay will remain in effect regardless of the rezoning outcome. The subject parcel contains approximately 2 acres. The current use, the property was approved for a landscape operation through a conditional use permit, CUP 0407, approved by the county's Zoning Board of Adjustment in October 2004, but the operation is no longer in use. However, the CUP is still in effect. Mr. Chair, I would quickly like to show you a couple of maps as I conclude. Just to orient everyone to where the property is. It is on the Dallas-Cherryville Highway, NC 279. Subject property is outlined in blue, triangular-shaped property. Again, this is the Dallas-Cherryville Highway. And you see the surrounding land uses. This is the zoning map. Again, subject property is in the blue triangular shaped parcel. Again, the Dallas-Cherryville Highway. You see the surrounding zoning of R1, C1, as well as other zoning districts off to the east. And again, R1 to the south. And also you see the CH overlay that runs on both sides of Dallas-Cherville Highway. The property is located in the northwest small area. Statement of consistency. With consideration of the comp plan goals and objectives, it is the opinion of staff the proposed map amendment is consistent with the comprehensive land use plan. No coordination was required with any of the municipalities. No phone calls were received. And Mr. Chair, that concludes my report, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King. Are there any citizens wishing to comment? If you would please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Lee Chandler. I'm the applicant. You need my home address?
Yes.
506 South Emerson Street, Gastonia, North Carolina. I'm here tonight to ask the members of the County Commission and the Planning Board to consider rezoning the property on Dallas-Cherville Highway from R1 to C1. I chose C1 because there are many parcels already zoned C1, just one lot over from the property. The property between this lot and the existing C1 is a store that is grandfathered in. My property was issued a conditional use permit in 2004 to operate as a landscape supply business. We made many commercial improvements to the property in order to operate the business. I'm going to stick this picture back on there. As you can see from the photo, these improvements make the property unsuitable as a residential residence, and there's no house on the property. We are now out of business because the business just didn't work there. Less than 5 miles away on Dallas-Cherville Highway, another landscape supply business is also out of business, and I believe it closed within a year of when we closed. Since both businesses failed in that area, I don't think that a landscape supply business would work there, and that is the only type of business that is covered under the conditional use. I have been advised that the property would be more marketable if it were zoned commercial, and due to hardships, I need to sell this property. I'm getting divorced, and I need to sell the property to satisfy the substantial debt that I still owe from the failed business. Selling this property is the only means I have to pay this debt. Thank you for considering my application.
Thank you. This time, are there any questions from the Planning Board? Hearing none, are there any questions from the Commission? Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Excuse me, I just wanted to advise that shortly ago, prior to other staff arriving to the meeting, a phone call came in, and it was in opposition of the request. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King. This time we'll move to item number 2, zoning map change. The Commission will take comment on zoning map change Z1402. Gaston County Planning Board is the applicant. I'll ask Mr. King for comments. Mr. King.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission and Planning Board. Z1402, as you stated, is represented by the County Planning Board. This is what's considered an administrative rezoning. 5 parcels are under consideration, and the request is from the R1 Single Family Limited Zoning District to the R2 Single Family Moderate District. The subject area contains approximately 10.8 acres. Furthermore, these contiguous parcels were initially intended to be rezoned to the R2 district with the adoption of the UDO in 2008, as it was an approved subdivision. However, due to a technical glitch, they were inadvertently zoned to the R1 district. This action is to update and correct those parcels and bring them into the intended zoning district. Staff contacted the subject property owners as to this matter. Again, the Planning Board is the applicant. Current use, there are some vacant parcels, but there are some residential uses within the subject area. Very quickly, I would like to orient us to the area. Again, subject property is outlined in blue. And again, to help us out a bit more, Tryon Courthouse Road, you see the street network, Tryon School Road, you see the school, and again, the subject area is outlined in blue. The surrounding zoning, again, the property is currently R1. Surrounding zoning is predominantly R1, but there is some I3, as well as a bit farther down some R2 and R3, which is also residential zoning. But again, the subject property is outlined in blue, and you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parcels that are under your consideration. The property is located in the northwest small area. With consideration of the comp plan goals and objectives, it is the opinion of staff the proposed map amendment is consistent with the comp plan. Coordination was not required with any other municipalities. 2 phone calls were received by the office, and the purpose was for information. Mr. Chair, that concludes my report, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King. Are there any questions from the planning board? Any questions from the commission? Commissioner Price.
Mr. King,
Yes, sir.
so no one is requesting this, it's just a technical correction?
It's two-part, Mr. Price. A property owner or someone associated with the property came in to obtain a permit to put a double wide on the property. And this is where the conversation and the process really started, because the R1 district does not allow manufactured housing. So as we continue those conversations and dialogue with the owner, as well as the surrounding parcels, knowing that it should have already been in the the R2 district, this is just to simply formalize this process to change the subject property from R1 to R2. So again, two-part. Someone was interested in developing the parcel, but at the same time, our technology just didn't catch up with our intended use in 2008. And this is hopefully to make it right.
If it should be, or supposedly should have been R2, but it's surrounded by R1, why was it just supposed to be R2 because of the size of the lots?
It was because of, it's my understanding that it was for a double-wide subdivision. And that approval would have occurred back in 1997.
Well, I mean, it just looks, I mean, the R2 just looks out of place, just right there amongst the, I noticed there is some R2 already close by, but.
Well, there is two, right, that you're correct about that, but there is already, as I understand it, some manufactured housing in this subject area under consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the board commission? I'll do that. Yes. Are there any citizens wishing to make comment? Okay, at this time, I'll excuse the planning board to the first appearance courtroom, room 2029, for their deliberations. Our next item is a road closing. The commission will take comment on to authorize closing a portion of Lake Wiley Road. Before we take comment, I will ask Mr. Chuck Moore, County Attorney, to provide a brief overview. Once he has completed his comments, citizen comment will be taken. Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The county received a petition to close this unimproved roadway in accordance with the statute and the county's process. It was a legal ad was placed to announce the date and time for this public hearing. The petitioner is represented by Mr. Ben Ipock of Gaston County Bar, and I will call on him to answer any questions that the board may have or that you may direct from any public comments that you receive.
You just want to answer questions if you have
If you have any, yes, sir.
So at this time, I'm assuming you will adopt the resolution.
Yes, sir.
I'll entertain a motion to close an unnamed right-of-way located off of Lake Wiley Drive, South Point Township.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Price, seconded by Commissioner Carpenter. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. This concludes the public hearing for tonight. The board would like to thank each of you for your input. Do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Price, seconded by Commissioner Fraley. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. We now move on to our business agenda. Our next item is to set the agenda as presented. Are there any items commissioners wish to pull or have questions about? Commissioner Price.
I'd like to pull item K, please.
Okay. Are there any other items from the board? At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented with item K moved to the non-consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Price, seconded by Commissioner Carpenter. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Our next item is approval of the minutes. Are there any changes or deletions the board would like to make at this time? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Fraley, seconded by Commissioner Williams. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. At this time, are there any citizens wishing to comment? Having none, we'll move on to our consent agenda. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I move the approval of K, Paul.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Carpenter, seconded by Commissioner Kieger. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Our next item is non-consent agenda, and they're still in zoning. They're still in session, so we'll move to items pulled from consent. Commissioner Price, item K.
Well, again, the money is coming out of fund balance, and I don't like that, so I would have asked that if we're going to approve a flat budget, that the departments that it affects make some adjustments within their departments. That's what I feel. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Price. I will make a couple comments on this item. I actually agree with you wholeheartedly. However, when we approved the flat budget, this is not an increase, if I'm correct, Bill Bradley, if you want to come up. This is not an increase because we're increasing a department. This is a Medicare supplement that we're required by law to pay that has increased, so we have to pay it. You want to elaborate on that?
Yes, both of these accounts, what you're looking at is caused by the flat budget we adopted. Last year when we adopted the budget, there was additional people retired and some additional amounts required, and when we looked at this, we projected out what we needed for the rest of the year, and this is the numbers we came up with.
I have a question.
Yes,
What
sir.
happens if we don't approve this item?
Those budget line items will be overspent.
What budget line items?
The 4198 retirees Medicare supplement and the law enforcement separation.
Are we required to pay those?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? Commissioner Williams.
Well, I think the request that we had to Commissioner Price's point was we understood that things were going to come up and that things would happen. And I think the request we had was that departments try to, cut in other areas to allocate for any additional appropriations that we would need. Do you feel confident? Has that something you guys have done? If so, what have you
Well,
at to try to
we've
offset
looked
that?
at both of these. The first one is a non-departmental account. Basically, it's not under anybody's budget. It's basically items that's been set up that the board has requested over the years. The other one is a sub-department of the police department. And we couldn't very well go into the police budget and come up with anything that we felt like we could take out.
So the county police?
Yes.
Okay, how much of that is for the county police?
110,000 for the separation allowance, and then the FICA on top of that, 5,000, 115 in all.
Okay, and so what you're saying is that there was nothing in that budget that you guys could have cut to offset or subsidize that amount?
When looking at it, we didn't feel like we could find anything there.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, I just have one more. So if I'm clear, 215,000 is not budgeted under any department. So it can't come from any department.
Right.
Okay. And the 115 is what you're saying, that we need to pay the law enforcement separation allowance, where the county police cannot find any other areas to cut that.
Well, yes. That could be a combination of police and sheriff's department. It's for
That's
all.
what I was thinking.
It was all sworn officers.
Right.
So it could be a combination of the two. Now, I don't know the breakup of the two at this time.
Okay. And I guess my last question would be to Earl, our county manager. What are your thoughts on this item?
Mr. Chairman, I believe that we are obligated to make these payments, and I don't think that there's a sufficient discretion within any departmental budget to cover these expenses at this time. That's not to say that we can't perhaps do a better job of budgeting in the future, though.
Thank you, Mr. Mathers. Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve item K under the non-consent, under items pulled from the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Carpenter, seconded by Commissioner Williams. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Is the planning board back yet, Chuck? Okay. Well, at this time, we'll move to our appointments until they get back. We'll start with Commissioner Fraley.
I have one tonight, Mr. Chairman, Transportation Advisory Board, Claudette Argabright. I hope I'm saying that right. New appointment.
Motion made by Commissioner Fraley, seconded by Commissioner Kieger. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. I will make the appointments for Commissioner Brown. He is not here tonight. He is participating in a charity baseball event. I'll make these all in one motion. I'd like to reappoint Ruth Patterson to the Adult Care Home Community Advisory Committee. Judith Johnson to the Animal Control Task Force Advisory Board, and Ed Smith to the Council on Aging. It is seconded by Commissioner Kieger. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Commissioner Price.
Thank you. I have one to the Sarah Local Planning Committee, Keith Watts.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kieger. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Commissioner Williams.
None at this time, Mr. Chairman.
I have a couple, and I'll make these in one motion as well. Mike Cox to be reappointed to the Animal Control Task Force Advisory Board. Melanie Lowrance to the Sarah Local Planning Committee, and Stephanie Masambaka to the Travel and Tourism Advisory Board.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Fraley. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Commissioner Carpenter.
I have two, Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee, Mary Alice Brown, and to Travel and Tourism Advisory Board, Cynthia Eisenhower.
I'll make the second to that. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Commissioner Kieger.
Just one, Donna Hamill reappointed to the Adult Care Home Community Advisory Committee.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Price. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Okay. Our next item is full board vacancies. And I think we have one. I'll make the motion to appoint Donnie Hicks, Economic Development Director, to the Central Line Economic Development Commission, seconded by Commissioner Carpenter. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Okay. Our next item is reports, committee reports. Commissioner Fraley?
None, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Price?
Yes, thank you. Attended the Department of Health and Human Services board meeting. I'd like to report from the social services, the side of the department. We have currently 27 vacancies and lapsed salaries of $427,192. From the Department of Public Health, we have 37 vacancies and a total of $358,772 in lapsed salaries. Also at the meeting was a discussion, and as of, if things go according to plan, starting July the 1st, pediatric services formerly done at the health department will now be shifted to Gaston Family Health Service. The customer or the patients their transition will be seamless. Currently working on now the transition of employees from one department to the other. That would be the highlights of that meeting. Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Price. Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, I've got the honor of sitting on the Caramont Health Board of Directors, and we've got some good things going on there. Caramont recently received the Distinguished Hospital Award for Clinical Excellence and was one of 260 hospitals recognized for performing in the top 5% based on clinical outcomes for dozens of common procedures and conditions. Also, Dr. Murthy Maduri is on board as Caramont's new medical director for the Caramont Hospitals program. If you remember, this was a big deal to all the local physicians last year, was the hospitals program. Caramont has brought that in-house, and Dr. Maduri, everybody's excited about him leading this. He just went to Duke University, countless other colleges, but I wanted to throw that in there for Chairman Philbeck. But very good doctor, very good program. Things are really coming together. They're very excited about that. And finally, Caramont received the Excellence Award from North Carolina Prevention Partners. This award honors organizations that have established a strong, sustainable culture of wellness and have achieved straight A's in all 4 areas of workplace America, which is physical activity, nutrition, tobacco-free, and just a culture of wellness. So very excited about that. Some good things going on at the hospital. That'll be it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Carpenter.
Okay, I did attend part of the Department of Health and Human Services board meeting. They had it at the new addition to our Highland Street facility over there. I was quite impressed. We got a great facility to serve citizens in this county. I was pleased to see that, and I was there with Commissioner Price. I did attend Thursday, the regional COG directors meeting in Kernersville. And the directors, we formed, the elected officials of that formed a regional forum, which represents cities and counties all the way across the state. There's 16 regional COGs. And we have initiated an effort to make more of a communication with the departments of state, the governor and the departments of state, to address issues that we face as counties and cities. So that is underway, and I was pleased with the discussion that we had. And on Friday, I went to Raleigh for the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners Tax and Finance Committee meeting. We are reevaluating our goals, legislative goals, which will be a new set of goals going into the long session, not this year, but next year. But we focused on things that we can continue to work on this year. And top of the list is try to keep the revenues that we have and actually go back after the ones that's been cut in the lottery money. As you may know, 40% of that's supposed to be coming back to the county, and the legislature over the last few years has cut that back because they had budget crisis, but it throws one on us trying to pay for our school construction. So we're leading an effort back on that. There was a presentation on an issue that has to do with tax, property tax evaluation on businesses. It seems that that some companies have headhunters coming out of other states that's targeting property that they think they can get a big fee off of by reducing the value. And so that's a concern, and we will be addressing that as the Hunterdon County Association. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Carpenter. Commissioner Kieger.
Thank you. I did attend a few meetings. First, I want to bring up the Parks and Rec met last Monday, and there was one agenda item on there that I just wanted to bring up to the board's attention. That'll come before us. We sent it back, and I think Mr. Moore is going to work a little bit on the ordinance. It has to do with the directive that the board gave Parks and Recreation Advisory Board to come up with a ordinance regarding feeding of the animals in the park. And the crux of the ordinance will state something very similar to it shall be unlawful for any person to disturb or feed any wild animal, fowl, bird anywhere in the park unless expressly posted otherwise. For the purpose of this subdiscretion, the term wild animal shall mean any animal which is not normally domesticated in this state, including but not limited to bears, coyote, deer, feral dogs and cats, fox, groundhogs, possum, raccoon, skunks, turkey, and waterfowl. So we will be bringing that forward probably at the next voting session. And even though folks have been asked or told not to feed the wildlife, there are a couple of folks that are continuing to intentionally disobey. But I guess once this ordinance is in place, it would become a police action then, I guess. College Board of Trustees, we met also recently, and it was pretty much a normal meeting, but there was one resolution that was adopted, and I just thought I'd bring it forward. It's a new program that the trustees approved. It's an associate degree for healthcare business informatics, and with healthcare industry becoming huge, I think that's going to work wonderful here. Our healthcare system keeps growing in Charlotte and the surrounding counties, and it's going to be an opportunity for our local folks to get a degree and get a real good job that really we didn't have the process for. And they're only 13 of the 58 community colleges offer this program. The nearest institution to us that offers it is isothermal. So there's not a lot of competition. They'll fill that program up. And then a couple of weeks ago, we had the annual College Board of Trustees planning retreat. We brought in some outside consultants to talk about strategic visioning, and I won't get into all that. Along with Commissioner Williams and Mr. Mathers, we attended the annual Employee of the Year Awards luncheon banquet that was held at the County Police Department. And we all had a few words of encouragement for the employees, and all those recipients, I think, will be at one of our meetings soon. So that was a great event. And Mr. Carpenter and I drove up to Shelby a couple of weeks ago to attend the open house the DOT had on projects, and you had the opportunity to make comments to the staff, written, verbal, and we did all the above. As Mr. Philbeck announced last meeting, I also have since filed for re-election. Not that that was a meeting, but I went over there and did it. And tomorrow morning I will be attending the Health and Human Service Board training on the health side for a 3-hour educational process.
Thank you, Commissioner Keeger. Chuck, as the zoning board came back, we'll move back to zoning matter, the non-consent agenda. We'll go with item 1. Commissioner Carpenter is the sponsor.
With respect to item 1, the zoning map change for Z1401 Chandler applicant, the planning board recommended approval on a unanimous vote.
I'll entertain a motion.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Carpenter, seconded by Commissioner Fraley. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Item number 2.
Zoning map change Z1402, which was instituted by the planning board. There was also a recommendation to approve on a unanimous vote.
I move for adoption.
Motion made by Commissioner Carpenter, seconded by Commissioner Fraley. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Moore. We're now down to the county manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I have a few good news items I'd like to share this evening. The first, and they'll be brief, but the first was an ambulance inspection that was undertaken recently by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. This was on Jim's equipment, and they found no deficiencies. We also had a surprise OSHA inspection just last Friday, which we also passed with flying colors. Just a brief remark on the tax collection rate, which I think for the most part you're aware of, but I think it's fairly remarkable that we have a collection rate that is right around 97% right now on real property and personal real estate and personal property. I think that's near an all-time high, and it certainly speaks well for the efforts of Mr. Jimmy Tanner and his office and some of the innovations that they've put in place, including the courtesy reminders that are sent out in December now. So that has had an obvious and positive effect. I wanted to thank you publicly for your support of the priority-based budgeting process, which we're going to be embarking on. That will include a presentation to our department heads on Friday. And I'm looking forward to an opportunity to improve the financial condition of Gaston County while being even more focused on the priorities of our citizens. So thank you for your support. I'm optimistic that this is going to have a salubrious effect on the whole financial process of Gaston County. The budget process thus far is going very well. it seems probably to members of the public odd that we would already be engaged in budgeting, but in fact we are having meetings with our various departments to talk about budgetary matters. But in general, I think the departments have been responsive to the need to hold the line on their budgets, and so I'm optimistic that we're going to be able to present to you a budget that won't be too difficult to work with. As was already mentioned, the Employees of the Year awards is postponed until the March work session. And then finally, I wanted to mention that we received another award from United Way at their annual meeting just recently, and that was called the Innovation Award. As you probably know, Gaston County employees contribute fairly substantially to United Way each year. So that would conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mathers. Mr. Mathers, County Attorney.
Mr. Chairman, I just have a request for a closed session for two topics.
Okay. At this time, I will accept a motion to go. Yes.
I know we're probably going into closed session, but the media's the press are here, and I know the subject they probably wanted to get some film on. You might want to address that prior to us walking out of here.
Solar.
Right, we're here for the utility scale solar project that's
Okay.
proposed.
It was approved under the consent agenda.
Okay.
And later we'll let you get Mr. Price some film on him.
Okay.
At this time, I'll accept a motion to go into closed session per statute.
So move.
The next item of business is a closed session pursuant to General Statute 143-31A11A3 to consult with the county attorney, and pursuant to General Statute 143-318-1111A5 to instruct staff concerning negotiations of price and terms of a contract concerning the acquisition of real property owned by Howe Farm Partners located at Howe Dairy Farm. Do I hear a motion to go in closed session? Motion's made by Commissioner Price, seconded by Commissioner Carpenter. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. We are now in closed session.
When there was.
At this time, do I hear a motion? Well, at this time, do I hear a motion to re-enter open session?
So move.
Motion made by Commissioner Price, seconded by Commissioner Carpenter. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. At this time, there was no action taken in closed session. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to close our regular meeting, to adjourn our regular meeting.
So moved. Second. Third.
Motion made by Commissioner Price and thirded, seconded by Commissioner Williams. All in favor? Motion is made. This concludes our meeting for tonight. Our next work session is March the 11th. Our next regular meeting is March the 25th at 6 p.m. at the Harley B. Gaston Jr. Public Forum Courthouse. Thank you for watching. If you have questions or comments, please telephone our clerk, Donna Buff, at 704-866-3196 and share them. Good night.